Hey everybody. This has been such a great couple of weeks already, hasn't it? So I want to tell you this story that I used to tell. I don't get to tell anymore because we just have too many things to tell on Sunday mornings. Remember I told you we got kicked out of the school and we start building the building and the building's coming along, but we have a deadline. The deadline for being out of that building was going to be December the 19th. December the 19th, we were going to have to move into this building that we have. Our last Sunday in the school was December 12th. It wasn't looking like we were going to make it. I mean, things were tight. And people had asked me, "Hey, what happens if we don't get in, if we don't get a CO, a certificate of occupancy by the 19th?" Now, the 19th was a special day because December 19th is Nancy and I's anniversary. So you should be writing this down, anniversary card's coming up. So I told everybody, I said, don't worry. Plan A is that we move into the building. I said, but we have a plan B. Oh yeah, what's the plan B? What's the plan B? I said, pray harder. We move into the building. They said, well, what if we can't move into the building? What if we don't have a CO? I said, then we're going to be having church in the parking lot. We're going to have to. We have no home. We have left the school. We've been kicked out. Our year plus extension is up. So the pressure was on. And I'm like, I got to be the pastor, right? So I'm like, oh, don't worry. God will work it out. I have faith. We have faith. Let's just pray. No, we don't need a plan B. But what about? I said, just pray. Trust God, trust God, trust God. That sounds like what pastors should say, right? That's what I said. So because we were going to be moving in on the 19th, well, here's what we knew for sure. Carpet didn't show up. Oh, can we move in without carpet? I don't know. We had some other issues that we didn't even know about. So we thought we were about done, and we called. So Jim Skinner, he had gone home for Christmas. Nancy and I had gone that week up to celebrate our anniversary. We went to Hilton Head. We had timeshare up in Hilton Head. And so what we have here is a couple of our trustees and elders, and we go to have the final inspection. So this is the final building inspection. So I'm on my anniversary couple of days. We're up in Hilton Head, and I know they're doing the final inspection on Thursday. And I get this call. We flunked the inspection. 12 things are on the list. 12? I mean, we didn't just flunk. We flunked. I go, what are the 12 things? And some of them were kind of minor, right? Some of them were kind of little things. Some of them were big. I told you we got all this free stuff. Well, guess what? Free fire extinguishers, they still have to be certified every year. I didn't know that. We didn't know that. All of our fire extinguishers that were donated, 12 of them were all expired. Well, how do you solve that? Well, you got to take them down to the fire master people down in Orlando. So I talked to Don Williams, the guy that I was setting the chairs up with back in the school days. Don, can you run down to I'm going to send you the address, grab up all of our 12 fire extinguishers and go down there, write them a check for $240 or $50 or I don't know how much it was, and get those inspected. So we got that done. We had some panic hardware on some of the doors that they said, well, if you prop the door, if you keep the doors open because the panic hardware wasn't working, we'll let you do that. Put some door stops on the door. So we did that. But one of the things they wanted us to do was there was something wrong with the front porch. We had double doors here and double doors here. And these two doors, the two closest to the center, were fine. But the other two, the porch kind of humped a little bit and created a tripping because we changed the doors somewhere along the design work, and it created a tripping hazard. And they said, oh, you got to jackhammer the whole porch out and re-pour it. Well, that can't happen in 24 hours. And they said, no. So I'm on the phone with the building department. I'm kind of negotiating. So get this, okay? We just had lunch at a nice Italian restaurant We just said, I love you. I can't believe we're going to get a new building. You know, happy anniversary. And we pull over the side of the road on the main road through Hilton Head. And I'm having this conversation. And Nancy's over here praying and praying and praying and praying and praying and praying the whole time. And I'm talking to this guy, the head acting building official, because we didn't have a building official at that point. It was like a temporary interim. And he's saying, well, preacher, he's a believer. He says, preacher, you got yourself in a jam. There's no way you're going to get a certificate of occupancy. So I start saying, well, is there any way you give us a temporary certificate of occupancy? He says, a temporary certificate of occupancy? I don't think we do those. I don't think there's such thing as a temporary certificate of occupancy. And I'm like, well, let's go down this list, because they had faxed me, or I guess maybe they emailed me, or sent me a picture. I mean, cell phones were kind of shaky back then. So I'm going through, and I'm like, well, how do we handle that? Okay, if you do that, if you get the fire extinguishers, if you get this down, if you put a door stop on that door, if you do this, I said, well, what about the doors? What if we don't use those doors? There's two. He said, longest pause ever. He says, just a second. He comes back. He says, okay, look, if you'll do this, 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 and this, we'll let you take care of that, and that next week or the week after. And if you'll put a sign on each of those outside doors, do not enter, door closed. So you only use the inside ones. I said, could we get a temporary certificate of occupancy? And he's like, you can have a temporary certificate of occupancy. And I got this image in my mind. I'm not saying, I was like, immediately I thought, this is like when Obi-Wan says, these are not the droids you're looking for. And the stormtrooper goes, these are not the droids we're looking for. That's how I felt. I was like, and you'll give us your temporary certificate of occupancy? And we'll give you a temporary certificate of occupancy. And that's how we moved in. No carpet. The doors on the outsides weren't allowed to be used. Several things, a panic hardware door propped open, and we had church that first Sunday, I think with like 120 people in here, and we were in. God can do anything. I hope you join me tomorrow.